This is the Young Changemakers Podcast, a global changemakers production. I'm Huiti, and together with Megan, we will be your hosts for this season. If you'd like to learn more about the resources and programs that Global Changemakers offers, visit www.global-changemakers.net.
Hello, everyone. Today we're
Enjoy the
kicking off
episode.
the 7th season of the Young Changemakers Podcast, a global changemakers production that showcases inspiring stories and conversations with young people making a positive impact in their communities through different grassroots actions. And I am very excited to discuss with Gabriela and Goitzi about the importance of sharing the stories of young changemakers, and of course, what to expect for season 7 of the podcast.
Thank you so much, Megan. I'm definitely excited as well for season 7. And before we start, one thing that we have really come to highlight in the season 7 is the wellness of it all. So we're going to start off with a little bit of a mental health check. And this season, we will be asking all our guests to let us know how they're feeling at the beginning of the episode from a scale of 1 to 10. So maybe, Gabby, you can start us off and let us know from a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling today? And if one word would describe your mood right currently, what would it be?
Okay, so we're recording on a Sunday. That has a big influence, I would say. Solid 8. And my mood today, I'm feeling hopeful today. It's kind of new this year. I haven't felt, very hopeful, but right now, that's how I feel. How about you guys?
That sounds amazing. Megan?
I would say 9. I also agree with the fact that Sunday makes it happier somehow. I don't know, it's like more relaxing. And I would say the word to me is exciting, because I find this very exciting. I'm excited to talk about what's to come with this season and to be with you. I'm excited. What about you?
Great. For me, I'd definitely say a 9 as well. And just echoing off of everyone, for the first time in a very long time, I would say my word is rested. I'm definitely feeling a little bit more relaxed, and I definitely know it's got to do with being here with you amazing ladies. But all in all, for the first time in a very long time, I feel rested.
Well, I'm super, super excited about this season of the podcast. And as we've done in a few seasons already, we're having 2 seasons. Basically, they're very similar in the topics that we're approaching in both, but we're having these episodes both in English and in Spanish, which is incredible, and I'm very much looking forward to talking to you about those episodes. But why don't we start by introducing you? Megan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Of course. Well, first of all, starting with my name is Megan Diaz, and it's very hard to define myself because I want to go beyond like what I do, but how I feel. And I would say that I'm someone who is very passionate about what I do. So, and also I will be loyal to the name. I am a change maker. I want to believe that I am. Throughout my life, I've been working for gender equality, for human rights, for sustainable development. And that is what, in the first place, a long time ago, led me to know Global Changemakers. So I'm part of this network since 2017, when I was in one of their global summits. And after that, now I'm host of the podcast. So that's why you will be hearing a lot about me throughout the season. And besides that, I'm an internationalist. So basically, I work in diplomacy. I'm currently working in the United Nations for the Mexican government. And I work pretty much on issues related to gender equality and children's rights. So I am engaged on discussions and negotiations and events that are related to achieve gender equality and the well-being of children. So overall, I think this is who I am. In a more maybe light note, I also really enjoy singing. I love walking and the little things in life, like just feeling like now that the heat is so strong, just feeling the wind in your face. Sometimes it's so nice. So that's a little bit about who I am.
Wonderful. And you're also the host of the Spanish episodes in this podcast, correct?
That's true. Sorry, just to clarify, like I will be focusing on the Spanish episodes. I'm from Mexico, so I think that's also a good advantage to be able to connect and to show you a little bit of the relationships that there are with the change makers we are interviewing for this season. So definitely I will take over that. Thank you, Gabby.
You're very welcome. That's amazing. Hoyte, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Gabby. My name is Huitzo Netanki Tebe, but I'm affectionately known by everyone as Huiti. And I'd love to actually describe myself as an optimist, a change maker, someone who's very passionate about serving my community. And I've come to realize that through the different seasons of my life, that would look differently in how it shows up in my community. But at the root of it all is just that desire to have a positive impact in my community. So by profession, I'm a trained medical doctor and registered in Botswana. And I'm a youth development practitioner. I love using that word because I'm particularly passionate about ensuring that young change makers get the necessary support and tools and skills development that they need to do the amazing work that they do that is related to the Sustainable Development Goals. And through that, in 2019, I joined this amazing community of global change makers as a change maker myself, and have since grown to take on different roles in this amazing community, from being a mentor at one point to joining the global team full-time to be the community manager and the capacity building manager of the community. And today I find myself in the role of being one of the hosts of the English episodes, sharing and amplifying the amazing stories of the change makers that we have as they do amazing things all over the world. So in a nutshell, I'd say that's a little bit about me. And honestly, I love everything related to music in all its facets. So you will definitely most likely see me dancing somewhere, shaking to a tune. That's me. And I'm so excited to be sharing my voice as we talk about the amazing work that the change makers are doing.
Wonderful. And I guess I will introduce myself very briefly. I'm Gabriela Jaeger. I'm the co-founder of Global Changemakers, and I have had the pleasure of being in this organization for a very, very long time, and also have had the pleasure of finding these incredible people, like these two amazing ladies that I have with me today. And with that, I would love to talk a little bit more about the topics we are talking about in this season. Hoyte, can you tell us a little bit what are we expecting?
So definitely, one thing that has stayed true throughout the amazing seasons of the podcast is that we are here to tell the authentic stories of change makers that are doing amazing work all over the world. And one thing that stays true also about Global Change Makers is that we anchor our work on the Sustainable Development Goals. So all 17 of them in some way or one way or another come together, are interconnected, and will be reflected in the stories of the amazing change makers that we have. And particularly in this season, we will be talking to change makers such as Katik from the United States, who is an advocate for rare disease. And he will be taking us through his advocacy journey as we talk about just the equity of it all. So how do we get individuals with rare diseases to receive equitable healthcare in the US, but also globally? And he will share his story, also being able to talk to and participate in high-level meetings and work with high-level individuals across the world, such as at the UN, and showing how he has managed to amplify his voice and actually influence policy around rare disease management. And that's just one individual, but we also have amazing change makers such as Savannah Cozy from South Africa, who will take us through her journey as a female co-founder for the Education Outreach Foundation, where she's actually advocating for equitable opportunities for under-resourced learners in different schools in South Africa, taking us through the amazing work that they're doing, but also the challenges, because, it's not a smooth journey as the change makers will allude to, but they are really using the resources that they have and the collaborative power of actually working with other change makers and other organizations to make sure that the work that they do actually reaches the people in that community. And we will also be talking to Ida Machesi, who is from Canada. Ida is a woman in STEM. She loves everything related to science. And as a change maker, she will take us through her journey of advocacy, ensuring that science, technology, everything related to engineering and maths, those different opportunities reach the young girls and the young women that are in her community in Canada, taking us through the work that they do in her amazing organization called Sciences. And we will also be talking to another amazing change maker from Zambia. Her name is Susanna. And Susanna will be telling us everything related to green energy. I believe you can tell just how diverse the topics are going to be and just how amazing the change makers are already. And Susanna will be dealing with renewable energy through her organization. She will be letting us know how she's mentoring young girls to actually step into the solar energy space, and actually also in a way still relating to the amazing work that is around STEM to amplify that desire and the opportunities for young girls in her community. We have Femi from Benin, and Femi also still tapping into the climate change advocacy and the green energy space. He's doing amazing work for green energy transportation. And so he will be taking us through his journey of social entrepreneurship and advocacy as well, to ensure that rural communities within Benin and beyond actually get to use different modes of transportation that are friendly to the environment and that are eco-green. So honestly, those are just some examples, but we will have definitely more throughout this season. We have amazing change makers from all over the world who are doing incredible things related to climate change, menstruation and sexual reproductive health rights, education, you name it. It's definitely here in this season.
That is fantastic. And I think this is the right time to remind our listeners to subscribe, to leave a comment and a review, to follow the podcast, and to help us grow this community, because I think, you know, you both are probably in agreement that this world needs more inspiration, that this world needs more success stories and more good stories. And what better than listening from the young people that are actually having an impact in their communities and that are standing up to do those changes regardless of their circumstances. And very often the circumstances are very hard, and probably that's what motivates them and that's what keeps them going. So to all of our listeners, please be reminded to subscribe, to leave a comment, and to help us grow this community by sharing the podcast with your friends on social media and what have you. And we just heard from Roitze, all the incredible people that we are going to be hearing about in this season, in the English season or the English episodes. But Megan, I would love to hear what will happen for those that are bilingual or for those who speak Spanish. And this is also an incredible way for you to practice your Spanish. Who did you interview in this season?
Yeah, so that's an amazing thing to say. The fact that we are having more episodes this season that are in Spanish. Just to give a general outlook, I would like to share that our guests are from Latin America. So they are based in this continent, and we speak about many topics, but I would focus or make this concentration of three big spheres that encompass the topics in general. The first one is education. We speak about different ways of educating communities. We also speak about health, and we speak about entrepreneurship. So I would say these are overall the overarching topics that we talk about. Starting with education, we will have some amazing episodes that will speak about, for example, the role of women in science, technology, engineering, and maths. For example, in this particular case, we will have Roxy Williams. She's going to be explaining from her own experience how is it that women can get into this field and all the incredible achievements she has reached for her age. So it's something that we have to look forward to in the episodes. But we are also going to hear about education in, for example, terms of finance or English, because in Latin America, access to this sort of education is not as easy as it should for all the communities. So we do have, for example, the case of Javier, which will speak about how is it that it is important to have these skills developed in terms of language or in terms of finance education. And about entrepreneurship, I mentioned this because we have a wonderful episode upcoming on menstrual health that combines this passion to contribute to menstrual health of women and entrepreneurship with Aletze. So Aletze is also a change maker. She's from Guatemala, and she developed a menstrual cup that is actually being sold throughout the country and also internationally. So it's something just mind-blowing, because if it's hard to be an entrepreneur, it's even harder to be a social entrepreneur, and it's even harder and it has more impactful if you do it for women's rights and for women's health. So I think that is something that is also a highlight for the episode. And also regarding education, we interview a wonderful change maker, Maria Paula. So we speak about the importance of co-creation, because when we are helping or we are educating communities, we need to do it in co-creation with them. And that way we know that we are doing it from the same field and not trying to impose something. And that's also something that I guess like Goitzik, coming from a more development and practitioner scope, she would understand. So it's something very important what she has to transmit. And well, finally, speaking about as well as in terms of health, we have an important episode where we speak about the mental health of activists with Estefania, because being an activist or being an entrepreneur or being in this field is about passion, but it's also very demanding. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you more about it, and it's very exciting that it's going to be in Spanish. So again, if you're bilingual, it's great for you to test and practice your Spanish. And if you are native Spanish speaker, I hope you enjoy them.
That is fantastic. And something that, I mean, I am clearly biased because a majority of the people that we're interviewing or that we're featuring in this season are change makers. So they're actually people that I know. And they're incredible. I know their stories and they're absolutely incredible. You're in for a treat. But something that I found incredibly interesting in the composition of the featured people in this season is that many of them are women. Am I right, Megan?
Yes, that is correct. So 72% of our guests, so 8 out of the 11 identify as female. And I think it's something we're very proud of, bringing these voices of young women. And as I was just saying, I just like it blows my mind, all of the things that the women that we interview have achieved for their age. Because as you will hear, now I can speak a little bit about like the experience that I had with Goitzi as well. As I said, these women have won awards, that internationally recognized awards. For example, in the case of Roxy, for the field of talking about like space and science, which is very hard to get into as a woman. But then we also have amazing entrepreneurs, like Aletze, who is already running her business. And when you hear the episode, you will know that it hasn't been an easy road. So happy to share that. Women empowerment.
It's incredible. And, just a disclaimer, we weren't, just looking for this wasn't planned. We weren't planning on only or mostly featuring women. And it only goes to show how, when given the right tools, when given the right access, women, just are incredible and succeed amazingly in their field. So this has been an incredible and happy coincidence, but something that I'm extremely proud of.
If we think about like not an episode, but like a season of these like 10 years ago, it would be very hard to see an example where there is more women than men. So I think this is something just really to highlight, because these are voices that have existed but have been either silenced or made invisible. And I think it's just so important to highlight it and just like putting it into perspective. I'm very happy and proud that this is what is happening right now, because it's something that maybe 10 or 15 years ago would be very hard to imagine. And we would be seeing other stories that are as well valuable, but not with this gender perspective.
That is so true. That is so true, Megan, especially where we are right now in the world. Just this year, you will see also, and as the other changemakers share the amazing story, that this year the UN was celebrating actually 30 years of the Benin Declaration. So it's like the Global Changemakers, Young Changemakers podcast, without even realizing it, is actually aligned to what is going on currently. And we're celebrating it and echoing the amazing work that these women are doing.
So, right, this is the 30th anniversary of Beijing. And just to say an example, 30 years ago, the Beijing Declaration didn't talk about menstrual health. So it talked about sexual and reproductive health, but it didn't mention the concept as such. And this year, after 30 years, we have it in a political declaration. So I just wanted to bring it on the table because it's a topic that is very important for global change makers. And it's a topic that we talk about in the podcast. So just to mention that the world is changing, and happy to be making those voices available that are contributing to.
So what can you expect also from Global Changemakers above and beyond this amazing podcast? We just want to make sure that you actually visit www.global/changemakers.net. And there you will get amazing resources and programs such as toolkits, webinars, the Changemakers School, where you have amazing courses that are actually related to the very topics that we are talking about in season 7. So you can have courses such as ecology, courses such as project management, on menstruation and sexual reproductive health, and on facilitation skills. So Global Changemakers really does offer the change makers that are out there, not just those that are already part of the community, but above and beyond, all change makers all over the world that are actually passionate about creating a positive impact. We offer them resources. We offer them an opportunity to actually shine and be propelled in the work that they're doing. And I would be very amiss if I did not mention that once you complete the project management course at Global Changemakers School, you have the opportunity to actually be able to apply for grant funding, seed funding, which is one of the most important and programs that we're actually very proud of at Global Changemakers. So thank you so much for joining us for season 7. We cannot wait to hear from you. So wherever you'll be listening to the podcast at, make sure to leave a comment, make sure to leave a review so that we know what you actually want to hear even going forward for other upcoming seasons. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just want to emphasize on the way forward. I hope, like, if you are interested while you listen the episodes and you say like, oh, that sounds something fantastic, I want to know more, please share them. Like, the first thing that you can do to be engaged with the episodes is to share them. You can share them like with an Instagram story or WhatsApp, but make sure that others listen to the amazing stories that we have to tell. I think that is the best way that you can be involved with the podcast. And you can also share your opinion, like if there's a particular quote that you like, or if you have experienced something similar, or you're carrying out a project that is similar, when you share it in any of your social media and make the best so that others can access it, you can also share your experience. And of course, please tag Global Changemakers social media, because that is a way to get into the conversation. So I would say that is the best way that you can be engaged with it. And we are also open, of course, to like any recommendations or any topics that you would like to hear. So please stay in touch with Global Changemakers, whether it is through its website or through its Instagram or any other social media. I would love to give the mic to Goitzi so she could share with you the handles, the social media handles, or the right emails where you can contact us in case you would like to be more engaged in the podcast.
Definitely. But you know, one thing also, the website has it all. So if I'm going to remind you, I'll definitely always take you to the Global Changemakers website, which is www.global-changemakers.net. But Global Changemakers is available on all the social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whether it's X, formerly Twitter, even on LinkedIn, you will find Global Changemakers, and on YouTube as well. Everywhere at Global Changemakers. Tag us, as Megan has said, and let us have these conversations even on social media, and let us hear your thoughts and your views, but above all, also your story and the amazing work that you're doing.
Absolutely. And we'll also share all the information and the handles on the notes of this episode. So thank you so much, Megan. Thank you so much, Hoyte. We're super excited about this season of the Changemakers podcast and looking forward to it.
Thank you for listening to the Young Changemakers Podcast, a Global Changemakers production. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it. And if you'd like to find out about the resources and programs that Global Changemakers offers, visit www.global-changemakers.net. Until next time.